This is Brampton Focus. My name is Michael A. Charbon, and I have the opportunity to sit down in a two-part one-on-one interview with the newly re-elected mayor of the town of Caledon, Allan Thompson. In this part one, we're going to talk about, a snapshot of the city, some of the reaction after the election, and of course, the contentious issue of the legalization and sale of cannabis in the city. First of all, Mayor, congratulations on this, your second term. How does it feel to get re-elected?
It is good to be back, and it's very humbling that the public has the confidence to support you again. So.
Well, you truly are one of those guys who has the feel of the people. I mean, being a farmer in the community for so long, so it's great to have you back in. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
When we've spoken on many issues, one of the issues that you always talked about was the cellular connection.
Right.
Give us a snapshot of some of the things that you wish to accomplish in this term and how it's going to be different from your first term.
Well, I think the first term is learning to become a mayor from a councillor, because it's quite different. You're now in a management role. It's no longer you're dealing with the issues day to day, dealing with the public. Something I really love. So it's something that's like a baby you had to let go. But as a town, you have to deal with the business of the town. You now speak on behalf of the town. You no longer have an opinion. You now are the spokes or the face of the town and bringing the town's concerns forward. And it isn't just what you do business here, but what you do outside of Caledon, in the region of Peel and across the province, across the country. So it's something that you have to grow and learn. And now that I've got my feet wet and I understand, I think I'm more focused on my role. And as you come back to wireless, it's an industry changing so fast. When you get an inspiration of an idea, it'd take 20 years for it to mature. Today, we're looking at 15 to 18 months. It's less than 2 years that we're looking on how fast things are changing. And I'm realizing that government and industry, or the corporations, like CRTC, do not understand or cannot move as fast. And I'm not so sure at times that government needs to be enablers and get out of the way and allow business to move forward.
But wireless is such a critical component to your business acumen, to the people in Caledon, and it was something I know that you were passionate about in your first term. Give us a snapshot of where we're at in that particular topic here, entering now your second term in office.
Well, the second term in office, this was really tough. First of all, when we realized, this is really laid up to the Bells and the Rogers to deliver, and they don't have the appetite for that part of the industry. They're not pioneers in growing and developing. It's more on big sales for dealing with the profits, for the shareholders. So what we really found is the provincial and federal government are not there. So the municipalities have had to come together. So Caledon joined called SWIFT, which is the Southwestern Integrated Fiber Technology. Yep. So we're with 20 other municipalities. We're also with 16 different First Nations. We're with school boards, with hospitals and everything through that whole southwestern Ontario. So it's from Niagara-on-the-Lake to Windsor-Sarnia to Tobermory to Orillia down to Caledon. So that whole area of all those municipalities coming together, we realized how important it is to work with one voice, develop a plan. And what we had to do is find what our gaps were, and we did that. And now we put a map together, finding what fiber is out there, and there's more actually out there than we really realize that's not being utilized. Hydro One is one of the biggest providers sitting on it, along with our railways, CN and CP. Yep. So it's bringing everybody together. The province would only just say it's an essential service to get everybody to share. Because right now it's like a Ford builds part of a highway, only Ford cars can drive on it. Where the 401 we have is open for everybody, and this is what we need to do, is have open access to everyone. We do have a plan in place. We also know where the pop stations...
When do you think those are going to come to fruition, those plans?
So what we've been able to do is we've done 6 years. What takes normally a business 6 years, we've done it in 3. So we have really moved aggressively forward. We've got federal and provincial funding as well at the table. We've got the private sector that's coming to the table as well. So what we're really hoping is to start construction this year. And what we're doing is we're laying the backbone, which is building the grid. And then as we get the grid built, we can start to close in, and the last mile is really going to have the impact. So what I'm really looking at is we're going to probably see 4 to 5 years, the residents really going to see that impact. And I know for all of us it's too slow. Even for my family it's too slow. But it is something that we know for the long term, that's what we have to have. Digital
Connectivity
is so important, and it's just going to continue to grow. Like QuickBooks now, you don't buy it in a software you put in your computer. It's all in a cloud-based system. Everything's going to cloud-based systems, and we have to have the fiber.
So when you talk about connectivity, that is a gateway to entertain business. You've got some interesting news of some companies that have moved into the city of Caledon as a result of some of the initiatives you did in your first term. Give us a snapshot of that.
Well, so, the one, I think the first big one we really got to deliver on time was to bring Princess Auto in. And that became a real flagship to bring other companies now in retail. That auto retail part is really taken off in Bolton. Then all of a sudden we were able to streamline our processes, and cut up the red tape in our own municipality and how we can deliver efficiencies.
Well, you brought a fresh perspective, because you're not a politician who's been at it so long that you're sitting there going, let's just do it. You had a fresh idea. And one would say a farmer always has a way to make things done, right?
Well, it's get things done. And that's what I love about local government. This is where you get stuff done. So yeah, we landed Amazon because we could be able to deliver on that. We got Mars now that has really made their Canadian home here in Caledon. We got UPS. Now bringing their eastern headquarters right here, right now. So bringing those companies and those jobs and flagship companies that are here for the long haul, it's really good to have them here. And it's because we've created that atmosphere to make them, they know we can deliver.
In the multiple opportunities that we've had to interview you and sit down and talk about some of your objectives, I always remember you saying the Niagara region was the fruit belt of Ontario and Caledon was the aggregate supplier. You supplied the rocks and all the components for the concrete in the building of the GTA per se. Yeah. One of the casualties of that, and one of the things I know has been a contentious issue, is these large trucks and aggregate and gravel trucks and the impact on the roads. Where are you with that? Give us a snapshot on that.
Well, this has been a real tough challenge. We were only getting 11 cents for every ton of gravel going out, and that was to go back towards our infrastructure and roads. And as of January, we're now up to 19 cents. Eventually, we're going to get to 33 cents, but really we should be at about $2. The aggregate industry's been on side. Again, it's to get the government and everybody else. It's when the money isn't coming to them, it's a concern. But what it is getting some of our revenue coming back out of that's being mined, because our roads are getting pounded to a pulp. Also, with Greenbelt and places to grow legislation coming in, created leapfrog development too, which has been a big part with, you see what's happening in Simcoe County, Dufferin County, and surrounding counties, is a lot of people have moved out there to live and now are driving in. So all our roads are being impacted very heavily. But not getting the provincial gas tax anymore for our road rebuilding, we're not getting Ontario municipal grant funds anymore. That's really taken about $24 million out of our coffers. So we've had to make that up differently. So we've been growing the budget, from back in 2011 till now. We've started with nothing, and we're up to about 19 million now that we're starting to build to make up the difference.
So we're going to be able to see some improvement in some of the roads.
It is. And what we've done too, 4 years ago, we started, or actually 5 years ago, we started building roads from the bottom up. And that's getting, because of climate change and everything, we're redoing our roadside ditches, where cross culverts are built to size to handle the climate change. And once we start to get a good solid base, then we put a top on the road, which costs about 28% more in road building. We're getting, instead of 8 to 10 years out of that asphalt, we're getting 30. So to me, the payback is huge. You can't build as much road as quick a time, but in the long term, we're getting roads that'll last a lot longer.
So Mayor Thompson, you've always been a mayor with a plan, someone who has a plan. And just to put a bow on our first segment here, give us a snapshot of what you're looking to do as we move forward in this your second term and 4 years for the city.
Yeah,
for the town, I should say. I always, I still believe you're a city. You got the balls as a city, but I always get corrected because I'm wrong.
You know what? People love the community that we have. We're a communities, and we like to think ourselves as a town. You look at Oakville, you look at the town of Milton. They're all big. They could be called cities, but they want to be called towns. I think we want to keep our identity. We don't want to lose who we are and what we're about. But you asked me going forward, absolutely. We want to build connectivity, have everybody connected, and that's through broadband, through good roads. But also we need a place to find where we can have our seniors be able to age in place and stay here and be able to retire and downsize. And that is something we definitely heard at the doors. So even with the new greenfield development, we're going to take a lot of growth. We've got to figure out how we can build areas for seniors as well. so they can stay here, because you know what? They're our best volunteers we've got.
So just to touch on, we have a second part, but I just want to give us a tease about cannabis, because in our second part we'll delve a little deeper into that.
Yeah.
But just give us a tease about the sale of cannabis in your town.
The sale of cannabis, well, it came through committee last week, and hopefully by tomorrow night we will endorse what it is that we're going to opt out. To me, there's just too many unknowns. We're already increasing the risk and the liability of monitoring what we already have. You can grow 4 plants yourself at home. You can order it on by mail, so it isn't that people
Canada Post.
Canada Post, you can get it that way. So to open for retail stores, there's just too many costs for our municipality and our taxpayers.
Let's save that, and we'll talk about that in part 2. You've been watching Brampton Focus. My name is Michael A. Charbon. Stay tuned for our second part, where we're going to talk a little bit more about cannabis. We're going to talk about amalgamation. We're going to talk about the West Corridor, and of course, the region of Peel. Thanks for watching. See you again.